Updated on the tragic death and short life of Santina Cawley. The injuries that Santina suffered were horrific. Several bone fractures, traumatic head injuries, a large amount of blood loss and what have you. But the guards did go down to Mammy's house early on Friday morning and got her to the hospital as soon as possible. Got there at 9:30. Now, the guard investigation continues into this, and the guards really have gone chapter and verse on this, and are remaining very tight-lipped about, what stage their investigation is at, what information they have. Santina's mum is Bridget, and as Paul referred to her this morning, I've been thinking an awful lot about this, because all too often, unfortunately, we see small little coffins these days, don't we, in tragic deaths of children in all sorts of circumstances. So Santina's mammy now will have to go with family members. And God knows she's got a big family, and they're very tight and they're very close. And I don't know how she's told her children what happened to their sister, or how she's processing it herself. I imagine shock. Complete disbelief, probably numb. But a funeral will have to be arranged, and a coffin will have to be picked out, and it will be a tiny little coffin, and perhaps it will be a little white coffin. And that happened yesterday, or at least that started to begin. That process for Santina's family began yesterday. But that's not cheap, and certainly to give Santina the send-off that she deserves. I personally believe that no money should be spared. But you are talking about a family who aren't rich, they're not wealthy, they're getting by. I want to be very cautious about how much I say without wanting to draw too much attention or embarrassment to the family, but they will need help in this regard. And a very close friend of Bridgie, Santina's mum, got in touch with me yesterday when we got off the air, saying, is there any way that we could help, or that people of Cork could help to cover the funeral costs for little 2-year-old Santina? And I felt that it was something that we should share with you on the air. And with the permission of Santina's mammy, Bridgie, Mary took a call from me earlier this morning, and we chatted about that. And here's that conversation. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
I'm very well, and thank you so much for taking my call at an incredibly difficult time, not just for all of the family and Bridget and all of the children, but yourself as well.
Thanks very much.
Can you just give us a sense as to how they're coming to terms with what happened?
Well, the woman is in shock, and so her kids is a hard thing to deal with and hard thing to explain to your children, Everyone's rallying around to help out. If the girl is numb, she's total shock,
Yeah, it's
to be expected,
Oh, it is, without a doubt. Mother of God. I mean, I was talking to people on the air yesterday, and even people around town wondering how would they even tell their children, never mind the family having to deal what happened to neighbours out in Cork.
Imagine sitting down explaining this to your children,
And did Bridget do that? Do you know?
I actually don't know yet, Neil. She might have, but I didn't want to talk to her too much because I don't want to be upset. She's upset enough already,
And let me just say, she knows that you're having a conversation with me, though, in fairness to her.
Yeah.
And can you confirm, was Bridget, or Bridgie, was she in the hospital? Did the guards call her and bring her to the CUH?
I think so, yeah. The baby died in her arms, as far as I know.
Oh my God. God.
So it's very sad. She's left with 4 small children now, and she doesn't have the money, and I thought I could be able to get someone to help with it,
I know.
For her sake.
I know. And that's what we're here.
People are traumatised, people are in shock. It's one of the worst things that anyone has saw for a long, long time.
Everybody feels exactly like that. Everybody feels exactly like that. Did you know little Santini? Did you see her playing and hang out with her brothers and sisters and things like that? Was she a happy-go-lucky little girl?
She was a beautiful little girl, yeah. Yeah, she was a lovely little child. She was very like her mother and her grandmother.
What kind of a personality did she have?
Nice little happy child.
Lovely photographs in the papers. You've seen her. Beautiful, very stylish, lots of colour, big smiles, bubbly personality, I'd say.
Well, her mother and her grandmother are lovely people.
I know. And are they all aware of the outpouring of grief and, say, for instance, the flowers and little teddy bears on the Borry Road? Are they aware of that?
They are, yeah. People on Facebook are sympathising with them and everything. It's unreal. It would be like that with anyone as well, no matter whose child or a person in the circumstances that would have happened to. You know what I mean?
I do indeed.
It's overwhelming, actually.
I do indeed.
Everyone is their skin is their hairs and their back was standing up when they heard it. You know, with the shock. As well for the emergency personnel and the medical staff at the CUH who did their best. I'm sure, they were fantastic, yeah. They were fantastic, yeah.
I'm sure Bridgie was aware of that when she was there. They fought as best they could. Yeah, they done their best, fair dues to them, you know. And that's all you can do. And have a lot of people been coming and going and calling to the house?
They have, yeah. But it's very hard. The poor girl is not able to deal with it, you know.
Shock, yeah. She's in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's demented with grief and in shock.
Yeah.
And yesterday, what happened yesterday with regards to getting ready for funeral arrangements? Forgive me for asking, but you know that's part of our conversation this morning. Did Bridgie have to start planning that, or will other members of the family do it, or how will that work out?
I say she'll have to start planning it.
Yeah.
She'd started a process already.
Did she?
I have to be.
Yeah, sorry. Go on, Maria.
She's started, but it's a hard thing to do. You know what I mean? I can't imagine her state of mind doing this. You know,
picking out a little coffin.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done yet. Somebody was suggesting me that that the family were looking at coffins yesterday.
They were.
Oh my God! Oh no.
I was just ringing to see could anyone help her towards the cost of the funeral and stuff like that, because she hasn't got any money.
Of course.
And you know.
Yeah, of course.
Just to help out in any way possible.
They're just getting by, are they?
Yeah, just barely scraping and scrounging.
Okay. So what do you think is needed, Mary?
Well,
to give this little child a beautiful send-off.
Maybe some donations or something for the child to give them all of the money to help her with their funeral.
I know. Are you in a position to put together a GoFundMe? Do you know what that is? Or perhaps maybe we could do it for you, or somebody could do it on their behalf. Or are they aware of that? Have you had that conversation with them?
I have, yeah. I had. I was speaking to her the other day about it. Yeah, well, I have I got a bank account that I could put if any donations would go in, and I could give her the money. I could get the money, hand her the money then, and she could do what she wants with it with the child. Yeah,
okay. Well, GoFundMes are much more effective than that, because you can see the amount raising in real time, and it's just much more efficient than a bank account, I think. But
can you set it up on Facebook?
Well, you can set it up online, but let's work on all of that across the morning, yeah, and get that set up, because funerals aren't cheap. You're talking 8 or 10 grand, I suppose. You're talking
easily.
And I believe that no money should be spared in sending this beautiful little girl off to heaven with the best send-off possible. Would you agree with me?
I would.
All right. Okay. You're a very good friend. You're a very good friend to the family, Marion Ferry. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, it's a very hard thing to do. You know, to talk about it even. You get a lump in your throat just talking about it.
Well, as you can appreciate, there are a lot of aspects of it that we can't talk about, but that's for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, yeah. It's just that anyone with children, their hearts are going out to the family, you know what I mean? I'm a mother myself, and I have grandchildren myself, so of that age.
I know.
You know?
I know. Well, I have etched in my brain Bridgie in the CUH with Santini dying in her arms. I'll never forget that, ever.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just to help her.
I know. And will you please tell her? Will you please tell her and the family and her mum and all of those that everybody's hearts are broken and everybody is holding them in their hearts and in their minds,
I will.
and thinking of them. And we'll get that GoFundMe going across the morning. And I'm quite sure that not only will there be an outpouring of grief as there has been, but there will be an outpouring of donations as well, okay?
Thank you very much, Neil. You're very good.
Not at all. I am not indeed. It's the smallest thing.
Okay, thank you very much.
And stay in touch, Mary, okay? Bye-bye now.
I will. Bye.
Okay, so that was before we came on air this morning. It was yesterday, when we were just coming off air, that Mary contacted the show appealing for help for the distraught family, particularly the distraught mother of Santina Cawley. It was Bridgie O'Donoghue, the ma'am, to help cover the funeral costs, because that's what they have to turn their attention to now if they haven't done so already. So as Mary got in touch with us, a family friend, and I was happy to oblige. How could you refuse a request like that for an innocent little child taken way too soon? Much of it we can't discuss, obviously, but the funeral arrangements go on in spite of everything else that's happening regarding this death, this murder. So the GoFundMe page is up, and I've put a limit of €8,000 on it. And if you would like to contribute, it's gofundme.com/Santina Cawley, SantinACawley. So that's gofundme.com/Santina Cawley. And this is all about Santina, lads. This is all about her removal and her funeral and her burial and her send-off. Nothing else. No other aspects of this. This is about a child who was killed at the age of 2 and has left, a hole in all our hearts. The child. So that's gofundme.com/Santina Cawley. This is to cover funeral costs, the coffin, the burial plot, the flowers and the cars and everything that goes with a funeral. Very small little coffin. And we've also put a link on our Facebook page and also on Twitter. If you feel that maybe you might have some money to spare, no matter how little, it will all go to this fund to cover the funeral expenses. GoFundMe.com/Santina Cawley. Thank you very much.
The Neil Prendeville Show.